I am a failure when it comes to the gym. Now, I don't say this from a position of I haven't achieved good things in the gym, nor am I saying that there won't be any future successes. What I am saying is that in order for me to achieve the results that I have now, I have had to fail a lot. The fear of failure is prevalent within our society, especially when it comes to achieving physical fitness. While many of you are well aware of training to failure, I'm also talking about different areas of the gym. You know, maybe like, oh, I didn't get that bench PR that I wanted, or oh, I fell off the diet for a little bit, or oh, I didn't reach my ideal physique by the end of the year. What a lot of people don't realize is that failure is not only going to just achieve growth within the gym, but within life itself. For example, I was a wrestler for 6 years. Now, if you look at it from specifically numbers and experience, I was a failure of a wrestler. I never went to states. I never really achieved any sort of high prestigious honor. And honestly, if anything, I was pretty average when it came to wrestling. It took me 6 years just to compete with guys who have been at this since the age of 2, just to compete at a mediocre level. Yeah, it's the fact that I kept going and the fact that I measured my success not simply from what my shortcomings were, but what I got out of it and how much I improved that allowed me to continue to make constant growth. I learned the value of hard work. I became physically more stronger and imposing. And it taught me the value of camaraderie among teammates while also being able to maintain your own individual drive. Even when it comes to the gym, it took me 8 years to figure out how to properly train. Now, granted, these 8 years also consisted of me not dieting right, me not knowing how to structure a program, not knowing how to consistently show up, not consistently knowing how to build up training momentum or how to whatever. It took a kick in the ass from life to finally give me the proper motivation to actually stick with it, not to mention actually go out my way to do the research, learn from reliable sources, and restructure my program in order to finally be able to achieve some metric of results. And then even then I was still an idiot. Sometimes I would train with too much volume. Sometimes my form absolutely was garbage. Sometimes I would show up, but I wasn't eating the right thing. I would even say for like the first 2 months of my 3-year bodybuilding journey, I was eating like a dumbass. I wasn't getting my protein properly in, my carbs weren't aligned, and when I did my first cut, I thought I was recomping because I was actually eating properly. Yes, that is right. I did my first cut by accident because I changed up my diet to actually eat somewhat healthy. And even now, with all the experience that I have, I still believe there's so much for me to learn out there and things that I might be doing wrong now that I could still improve upon. But the thing is that none of these failures held me back. None of these failures even led to a degress. If anything, they allowed me to grow, because without failure, you're never, ever going to be able to grow. If you're too afraid to fall flat on your face, to admit when you're wrong, to admit that you need to learn more or that you can improve upon something more, not to the point of being self-critical that it completely demotivates you or it takes away from the hard work that you have, but being somebody who can't take criticism or can't realize that there are things that need to be improved upon. Because ultimately how you grow is how you fail. So if you're not afraid to fail, if you're not afraid to constantly improve or admit that there's some things that you need to work on, then that's ultimately how you're going to grow. And none of us are perfect. Even the most experienced people in whatever field that you're trying to pursue, they had to go through painful struggles and lessons in order to get to the place that they are now. And even then, they still realize that they have stuff that they can improve upon in order to be better. Look, the point of this video isn't to call you a loser or that you're a complete failure, but to simply just reassess things. To look at your failures not as absolute shortcomings, but as potential for growth. And to measure your success in different ways. We're not always going to be at the top 1% of whatever we're doing. Sometimes we're just going to be average. But even then, average people achieve great things for themselves. For example, when you're in the gym, instead, maybe you might not go for a big giant bench PR, maybe you hit a rep PR on one of your working sets. That's still improvement. That's still an area where you've been successful at. So as we move forward into the new year, don't look at your failures as failures. Look at them as opportunities to grow, and that the little things that you've achieved in your day-to-day life as wins for yourself, and ultimately something greater.